Hello, I'm Daniel,
And I'm Reese.
and welcome to the Marlborough Science Academy School Report. We have had the privilege of being able to work and write again with the BBC to produce reports of our stories of our school. First, we have the latest from another Marlborough outstanding school production, Aladdin. Finnan, Tom, and Ariana all feature in the play. Tell us more.
Now we'll be interviewing Miss Haynes, who is directing the musical aspects of Aladdin. So, how would you describe your first school production?
It's been absolutely amazing. I think in no other school that I've been to before has kind of the acting, the talent from the students, the staging. It's just absolutely amazing. Yes, really enjoying it. Yeah, it's like an experience like I've never seen before on a school level.
Okay, so what do you think of the soundtrack in Aladdin, and which is your favourite song?
I think the soundtrack for Aladdin is particularly good because it's so orchestral. There's lots of instruments in it, lots of percussion instruments, so it's really effective. I think my favourite song has to be A Whole New World. That's where it's all about for me, yeah.
How well do you think the play went on the first night?
I thought the play was absolutely outstanding last night. I don't know how we're going to get it any better. I thought it went really well. I think the actors so confident, the sound, the lighting. I thought it went really well last night. Very proud of everyone.
Okay, well, if you could, how could the play improve for the next two nights?
Oh, I think that's going to be really difficult to improve, but I think maybe now we've done the opening night, we can just settle down, take a little bit of space in between the lines, give a little bit longer for the audiences to clap maybe. But it's going to be tough. Hard act to follow from last night, yeah.
Are you looking forward to next year's production?
Definitely. After I've had a few good nights' sleep, then we can start thinking about next year's show. I can't wait. It's brilliant.
Thank you, Miss Haynes.
Next, we have a group of Year 7s reporting on Marlborough's house competitions, with 2 interviews from Miss Arrell and Miss Edwards.
Hello everyone. Today we'll be presenting what house is currently in the lead and what they have done to deserve it.
That's right, we will also be talking about the recent sports competitions and how many house points and regular points each house has.
Our most recent event has been bench ball competitions. Neptune won Year 7 competition, followed by Saturn, Mercury and Mars. Saturn came victorious in Year 8, beating Mercury, and trailing behind was Neptune and Mars. For Year 9, Neptune won. Saturn came second, and then Mars. For 6th form, Mercury won, followed by Saturn, then Mars, then Neptune.
Thank you, Daniel. And for another very recent event was the house football competitions. Overall, the mode winner was Neptune, winning 2 competitions along with a joint first. Here are the results. For the Year 7, the places were Neptune, then Mercury, then next was Mars, and last was Saturn. The Year 9 Mars team won, followed by Neptune and Saturn, and Mercury didn't compete. The Year 10 places are as followed: Neptune, Mercury, Mars and Saturn. Finally, for the 6th form, we have a joint first between Saturn and Neptune, and behind was Mars, then Mercury.
Thank you for the information, Sean. And on to the house places and scores. Overall, Saturn is leading by a milestone with 10,800 points. In second is Mercury with 8,950. Then we have Neptune with 8,400, and then last is Mars with 7,750 points.
Now, please welcome the head of house for Mars, Miss Edwards.
Thank you for being with us today, and we have a few questions on your general opinions of being head of house.
Thank you for having me.
And how do you feel their house is unfortunately last place?
How do I feel? I feel quite upset, disappointed. However, I'm optimistic.
Thank you. Do you think that Mars will continue to win in this next sports day?
I do. I have every faith in my team. We have won for the last 3 years, and I'm incredibly proud of how they perform on sports day. So I'm really holding on to that.
Yep. So, Miss Edwards, what made you want to become head of house? What are the responsibilities?
I think the house system is an excellent opportunity for all students to participate. I think it's a really good way for students to compete in many different ways, whether it be sport, which is the obvious activity, but also there's lots of other things in subjects, in maths and English and languages, where people have the opportunity to compete against their peers.
Yep, thank you. For our final question, do you think that your house will win this year?
Do I think that Mars will win?
Yeah.
Realistically, I believe that I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful.
Yes.
There's still room. There's still dodgeball competitions, still sports day. There's still lots of different competitions in the year coming up. So I'm hopeful that we can pull it back.
Okay. Thank you for your time, Miss Edwards. And now, please would you welcome the head of house for Saturn, Miss Arrol. How do you feel that your house is racing ahead in first place?
Okay, elated. We've never been in this position before, so since September we've been in first place. So it's a really different atmosphere in the house. In the house assemblies, we're happy. We're making some great progress, so it's excellent.
Thanks. What are your thoughts on your house doing well in the benchball competition?
Well, as you said earlier with Miss Edwards, and as you sort of explained the results, we didn't do too well in the football competitions. Unfortunately, so it's really nice to sort of bounce back, and actually we've come either first or second in all the benchball competitions. So it just shows that if we have a slight sort of dip, we bounce back and fight back.
Do you believe that this time your house will finally win the sports day?
Do you know what? We haven't won yet, and we're in a fantastic position. So even if we don't quite win, we've still got ourselves in a great position. But I don't see why we cannot win. We've got a really good strong group of Year 7s this year that have won quite a lot, as you guys know. So I don't see why not. Absolutely.
Why do you enjoy being a house inspiration, and will you continue to be house head next year?
I hope so, as long as everyone's happy for me to do so. When I joined at Marlborough, Saturn were in 4th position, and each year we have just gradually crept up to 3rd, 2nd, and we are, obviously it's not the end of the year, but we're currently in 1st place. So that is that's what the best thing about this job is because we've gone from 4th to this position at the moment. It's great.
Thank you very much for coming and spending your time being here. That's it for us, and
Next, a story about the plans to create a new sixth form centre. The Marlborough Science Academy has recently sold a plot of land in order to raise funds to build a new sixth form block. There are currently 200 students in sixth form that feel like they need more space to learn.
Here's Miss Dean to tell us more. She's in charge of the plans and knows more about it. Kaylee and I will be asking her some questions.
What are the new plans for the sixth form block?
So with the money that we made from the land sale, or some of the money that we made from the land sale, we are going to be building a new 2-storey building which will house an entire floor just for sixth form, and the lower floor will be comprised of a music classroom, an IT classroom and a normal teaching space, and that will be situated where the current D7 music classroom is at the moment.
When will construction start and finish?
We need to go to planning to get permission for the building, so as long as everything is okay with that, we're looking at starting around about October later this year, and with a view to having the build finished around Easter next year, but it probably won't be open for use until the start of the next academic year in September.
Why do you think we need a new block?
I think it's important that we give the sixth form their own space. And what they have currently, unfortunately, they've outgrown because the sixth form has grown quite considerably over the last few years. This will give them a completely modern area. It will give them their own sort of chill out area, and also I think it raises the kudos of sixth form in our school in terms of making them feel slightly different, and they're just about to go and embark in the real world. So for them, it's giving them something that's a bit different. And also encouraging other people to come to our school and join our sixth form as well.
What do you think will happen to the current sixth form block?
That's a really good question, and I'm afraid I don't have the answer to that at the moment. We do have this space above the sixth form, above the sports hall, which they currently use, and we at the moment don't know what we're going to do with it, but obviously we'll be looking for some suggestions about it in the future.
How long will it take to build?
As I said earlier, if we start in October, we're looking at having it finished around about Easter time next year.
What new additions will be in the new block?
So the ground floor will be made up of a new music classroom, an ICT suite and a normal size classroom, and also above that, on the first floor will be the sixth form area, which will have a social space with a serving area, cafe area, and also what's known as IT bars, so that people can go and work on their laptops and plug them in, charge them up. But also there will be a silent study area, which will be completely separate to that, where you can go and study, and that will be supervised. And then there will also be 2 small sixth form classrooms on that floor as well.
What do you think is important to have in the new block?
I think it's important to give them their own space so that they can go and work, but I think it's also important to give them an area to go and relax, that they are responsible for looking after and maintaining, and it gives them that, somewhere to just go and chill with their friends, catch up on a bit of work, do a bit of reading. But I think also what's really crucial is that we're spending an awful lot of money on this build, and it's really important that we don't just accommodate the sixth form with this, and that's why on the ground floor we've incorporated teaching rooms and ICT and an ICT classroom that can be used by the whole school. So it's a whole school new build, not just for the sixth form.
Will there be an option to eat in the new sixth form block?
Yes, there will be for the sixth formers. There will be a social space which will have some sort of cafe style area in there. I haven't quite decided how that's going to look yet, but yes, they'll be able to sit and eat and have their lunch and snacks there.
Will you be including any of the sixth formers' ideas of what they want in the new block?
Definitely. When we had the architects come in last week to do some tendering for the project, we had a sixth former there, so she was involved in those discussions. And of course we've spoken to the heads of sixth form, Mr. Eve and Mr. Atherton, but we'll also be involving students in terms of maybe the decor or the layout, in terms of the social space, what might work, what wouldn't work. So yes, we'll definitely be involving them, and potentially Year 11s as well, because they will be the ones going into the sixth form and using that space.
Thank you, Mrs. Dean.
Thank you.
Thank you, girls. Up next, we have Kyle and Sam telling us about Year 8's quarter-final cup match.
Yesterday, the Marlborough Science Academy's Year 8 team progressed to the next round of the Cup with a surprise victory against the St Albans Boys' School. In the build-up to the match, the Marlborough players were getting quite nervous, and they definitely didn't think they'd be progressing to the next round, because only a few weeks prior they had played St Albans Boys' School in a friendly. They'd lost the game 4-2. Despite the nerves, Marlborough was also quite excited for the match because they managed to beat Samuel Ryder by the skin of their teeth with a 3-2 victory, and the final goal came in extra time. In this game, it was a closely run affair, with the end score being 4-3 to Marlborough. The match was extremely close, the teams trading blows until the half-time break, with Marlborough leading 2-1. After the break, the boys' school quickly evened up the scoreline to make it 2-2, and then the pattern continued, because after this, Marlborough scored to make it 3-2, and the boys' school made it 3-3. But it wasn't enough, because Marlborough managed to score one more to make it 4-3, and that was how the scoreline looked until the final whistle. Now Sam will be interviewing the man of the match, Will.
So, Will, how do you think that match went?
Well, I think it was a very even match, and it could have gone either way up until the final whistle, because they just kept on striking back at us. We got a goal ahead and they just bring it back straight away again.
Were you nervous before the match?
Yeah, because as Kyle said prior to it, we had lost 4-2, and in that match I got injured, so I was a bit worried of a repeat happening.
Did your defence help you out?
Definitely, because they just kept on clearing it, and they were so consistent, stopping shots that easily could have gone in.
Did Marlborough deserve to win?
I don't know. I think either team deserved to win it because it was such a close, exciting game.
Who was your best outfield player?
I think it was Kane. He got the winner and he made an excellent turn and finish to smash it past the keeper.
Do you think you could go all the way in the cup?
I don't know. We stand a chance, as you always do, but it's just how it happens.
Back to Kyle with the player ratings.
Player ratings. Kane Keller, he got a 9, he played really well. Matt Napier got an 8.3. Tyler Cadger-McCarthy, 9.2. Jake Leach, 8.7. Shay Cassidy, 9.6. James Cheney, 9. David Agbenny, 9. Jojo Coleman, 8.7. Daniel George, 8.5. William Pearson, 9.8, man of the match. Thomas Jobson, 9.4. Substitutes. Elliot Clark didn't play, so we didn't give him a rating. Cameron Smith, 8.1. Rafi Roberts, 8.1. And Matt Radlat, 8.7.
Have you noticed the seagulls and litter around the school? Here are some students to tell us why.
Chris Pace, the estates manager here at Marlborough, is trying out his latest weapon in the battle with unwelcome lunch guests at the school.
How do you feel about the vast amount of seagulls?
Yeah, quite upset that we've got so many here and the reasons why we have them.
How many seagulls are there approximately in your opinion?
In my opinion, probably about 100. And you see them invariably on the top of Pascal Tower. They'll sort of sit there waiting for either the break time or lunch times.
At 11 o'clock the children have a break, however they leave behind them a horrible mess. Mr Fitzgibbon is one of the deputy heads here at Marlborough Science Academy.
Why do you think seagulls are moved from their natural habitats?
Because they're very clever creatures and they go where the food sources are, and so they might think it's a lot easier to find food that may be discarded and left on the floor than to go and hunt and get fish from the sea or from animals that are around that area. So they go in where they think it's the easiest thing to get their food source.
What main impacts of the seagulls on the school?
Well, if seagulls do come into schools, that they can, first of all, they've got their own waste, so they can have the lime, which can start having an impact on paint, etc. It's unsightly, and also when they do drop their own waste, it could fall on us.
Thank you for watching. We have had such a great time producing these. We hope you liked it as much as we enjoyed making it. See you again next year. Goodbye.
Goodbye.